Hello! Thanks for joining me today. Today I want to show you how to tack a weld together. If you have a couple pieces of metal you need to tack together before you actually start welding, you want to make sure that your tack weld does not interfere with your weld that you're going to want to have pretty. So the way you're going to do that is you're actually going to weld a little bit on the ends. Whether I need a lap joint, or whether I need a fillet, whether I need a pad weld, or these are butted up together, I always want to weld on the ends. And what that is going to look like is an actual small little weld. What you're not going to do is just make a bunch of strikes and assume that that's going to hold, because it won't. What you're going to do is you're going to strike an arc, and then when you actually get to an arc that you can weld with, you're going to do a little weld on this end, flip it over, strike an arc, weld a little bit on this end. That will hold those pieces together. And when I tack weld, folks, I always like to use the little remainder pieces. I don't use a big new electrode because I like to save these for my long welds. So I'll get a little half-used or mostly used electrode, and then I'll tack with that. And then by that time, once I'm done tacking, it's probably mostly used up. Remember, you only use the electrode down to the numbers. You don't want to go too far past that, because then it can hurt your stinger. Now you might have a question of, how do I hold it and tack it? Well, this is where you need to be resourceful. You need to see what you have at your disposal and see if you can use that to hold your piece. Whether you have a magnet that you could use to hold your fillet weld together, or maybe you have a clamp. You could use a C-clamp and you could put that on there and it would hold it for you. You could use a vice grip C-clamp and that would hold it for you. Or you can use one of these small little guys, and that's what I actually kind of like, because they are so small, they don't get in the way so bad. So now that I have my two pieces clamped up, ready to go, I'm going to tack weld the ends and not in the middle, because if I'm going to weld a lap weld in here, and if I have it tacked in here, I'm going to have to go over that tack or burn through it, and it's not going to look as good as if I would tack it on the ends and have a nice weld there. So what I'm going to do now that I have it clamped is I'm going to set it down in my stand, tack it here, flip it over, tack it there, then I'll be good to start welding on it. Alright folks, so just like when we weld, whenever you tack, you need to have all your personal protective equipment on. You need to have your mask and your gloves and your jacket. I know some folks think that all you have to do is shield your eyes a little bit and tack it there. That's not a very good tack. Put everything on that you need to weld regularly and protect yourself. And then you're going to get ready and tack. So like I said, I use these small half-used electrodes, and that way I'm saving my full ones for an actual good weld. So when I tack this, I'm going to get down here nice and close. I'm going to pinch the end of this little electrode, and what that does is the electrode, whenever you stop welding, the metal actually kind of goes inside a little bit. So it's a little concave shape where the metal is not the farthest thing out. So what I do is I just pinch those ends a little bit, and then that metal is the farthest thing out. It's what's going to strike an arc first, so I'm not having to brush that off when I'm doing the striking. I'm going to strike an arc on here and do a little weld, and that'll be a tack. Okay, so I got my tack on one side. I'm going to go ahead and do it to the other. The clamp's keeping my metal exactly where I want it. So just like with your regular welds, your tack is going to be pretty warm. So you want to cool it off in your water, chip your slag off, and then you're ready to weld. And there you go, folks. That's a tack. It doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to hold. So we'll take this clamp off. And it holds. Hey, thanks for watching, folks. Remember, you only get better as a welder by running more beads, by burning more electrodes, by running more wire in your MIG welder. So get out there and practice, because that's how you get better. Thanks for watching.